Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. For those of you who are new, my name's Boomy, and thank you for watching. Now, today, guys, we're going to be checking out 10 dishes from Louisiana. Now, this video has been requested through Buy Me Coffee, and this one's from Sam. Thank you so much for your support, my lovely. So Sam says, howdy, Boomy. Oh, howdy. I've been watching your videos for quite a while now, and I truly enjoy them so much. That's so sweet. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. You seem to have a special place in your heart for Louisiana and New Orleans. Sam, I absolutely do. I'm ever so slightly in love with Louisiana, despite never actually having been there in person. But I will one day. And being a native Louisiana myself, this makes my heart swell. Oh, thank you. Combining that with your love, I can't remember words out today. Combining that with your love of foods, I thought of you when I came across this video and wanted to share it with you. I hope you enjoy it. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam. It's very thoughtful of you. So today's video is 10 foods that were invented in Louisiana. Oh, in brackets, not what you think. Now, originally, I would have said, you know, the usual suspects. I would have said gumbo's got to be in there. Étouffée, Jambalaya, po' boys, and of course, one of my absolute favourites, beignets. They've got to have made the list. What's the name of the pastry, the kind of dough ring? I can't remember the name of it. I've got a memory like a goldfish. I can't remember. So I would have naturally have said they've got to make the list. But now I'm doubting that because it says not what you think. So maybe they're really unusual foods that I've not heard of before. Interesting. Well, let's give it a watch and I'm sure we'll find out, guys. And if you're enjoying these reactions, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. That link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. Yes, I do. And if you want to check that out at all, that link is in the description, just below there. Right, come on, show me these 10 foods invented in Louisiana.
What if the most celebrated cuisine in America was built by people that history tried to forget? What if the foods you think of as Southern comfort, the smoky, the rich, the deeply spiced, were actually the result of one specific patch of earth, swamp, and sea and heat all tangled together that cooked up something the whole world couldn't ignore? What if one city, one singular sweat-drenched, jazz-soaked, grief-filled city, quietly invented more iconic food than almost anywhere else on the planet?
I slightly resent them referring to it as sweat-drenched. It doesn't convey a great image, does it? But I do believe it's very warm at certain times of the year in Louisiana and quite humid. So it's just not the most, you know, nice way of saying it, is it? Are we talking about New Orleans?
That city is New Orleans. That state is Louisiana.
Of course it
And
is.
on Where Food Began, we're going deep into the dishes that came from its kitchens, its docks, its cane fields, and its pain.
Oh,
Food number 1, gumbo. Gumbo.
Oh, it's thrown me off. Gumbo is on there. And of course it's number 1. I still have to make a gumbo. You know, I absolutely do. I have to actually get round to making it. It's a bit difficult at the moment. We've got a lot going on around the house, but I will get cooking soon, guys. I know.
Gumbo is the unofficial state dish of Louisiana. It is a thick, smoky stew served over rice, as essential to New Orleans as jazz or Mardi Gras.
Made with the roux.
But gumbo isn't one thing. It's a negotiation between continents.
Oh.
The word itself comes from Gumbo, the Bantu word for okra, carried to Louisiana by enslaved West African people in the 1700s.
Yes.
The French contributed the roux, that patient, slow-cooked butter and flour base. The Choctaw Nation brought filet powder, dried sassafras leaves, to thicken and flavor the pot. Here's the fact that stops people cold. There is no single definitive gumbo recipe. Louisianans have been arguing about what gumbo is. Chicken or seafood, okra or filet, tomato or no tomato, for over 300 years, and they are not close to stopping. Gumbo isn't just a dish. It's a living document of every hand that shaped Louisiana.
Oh.
And proof that the most complex flavors come from the most complex histories.
Yes.
Food number 2.
Oh, before we move on to, yes, Jambalaya's in there as well. I predicted not all 10, so there's still some I'm not sure that are going to be on here, you know. Gumbo, I think the narrator summed it up there. It's like a combination of different cultures that have resulted in the final gumbo. And there's lots of variations on it. And it's not to say that anyone is wrong. It's just to say that it's such a beloved dish with such a rich history going through it as well, that, you know, a lot of people have a different interpretation of it. I think, if I remember watching, I think it was Max Miller that said this. So a lot of people came to Louisiana, tasted the amazingness that is gumbo, obviously, and they've gone away and they've tried to recreate it, or when they've been telling other people about it, other people have tried to, you know, recreate it based on what other people are telling them, and you end up with an awful lot of, not regional variation, but an awful lot of like different takes on it. I don't think that's a terrible thing. I mean, it just kind of proves how popular gumbo is. And it's popular because everyone loves it.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya is one of the most recognized rice dishes in the entire world. A bold, spiced, deeply savory one-pot meal that feels like a party in every bite. Its origins are a cultural collision. Spanish settlers in Louisiana tried to recreate paella, but couldn't find saffron in the bayou. So they improvised with tomatoes, local sausage, and whatever the land gave them.
That is so interesting. So the origin of jambalaya is actually Spanish people here trying to recreate a paella, beg your pardon, but not quite having the same ingredients. So then you create something that's got an, you know, its own personality. It's its own dish. I love that.
The dish absorbed West African rice cooking traditions and Creole seasoning and became something entirely its own.
Yeah.
By the 1800s, jambalaya was feeding laborers, festival crowds, and riverboat crews up and down the Mississippi. The surprising twist: there are 2 completely distinct versions that Louisianans treat as almost separate dishes. Creole jambalaya, made with tomatoes and associated with New Orleans, and Cajun jambalaya, made without tomatoes and cooked until the rice gets a smoky brown crust at the bottom of the pot.
More similar to a paella. I see. You got the Creole and you got the Cajun. Similar thing with gumbo, isn't it? Okay, I understand. Okay, you know that when a dish is very, very special and tasty and it's raved about so much, you often find that it's enjoyed by all classes, you know, by aristocracy, gentry, and whatever you want to refer to, upper class people and working class people. Everyone, it's enjoyed by everybody, and that's the sign of a great dish.
That scorched bottom isn't a mistake, it's the goal. Jambalaya is what happens when scarcity meets ingenuity. When you can't have the original, you build something better. Food number 3, beignet. Few foods in America carry the weight of a single city the way the beignet carries New Orleans. A pillowy, deep-fried square of dough buried under a snowfall of powdered sugar. French colonists brought the beignet to Louisiana in the 18th century. And by 1862, Café du Monde had opened on the edge of Jackson Square, serving beignets and café au lait around the clock.
And amazing coffee.
It has never closed. Not for hurricanes, not for wars. In over 160 years. What most people don't know, the beignet was officially declared the state donut of Louisiana in 1986. Not the state pastry, the state donut. Louisiana is the only state in America with an official donut, and the choice tells you everything you need to know about how seriously this city takes its food.
Absolutely. It's like a cruller. A cruller, I would, do you categorize a cruller as a donut? I do, because it's on the menu, it's important. And I've recently discovered that I absolutely adore them. I love them, they're my favorite. I would go as far to say they are my favorite donut, but now, if we're throwing a beignet in the mix, that's close competition, guys. I love them both. I don't have to decide. I can have both, right?
Every beignet comes with powdered sugar on your shirt, your lap, your hands, and that's not a flaw. That's the whole point. Some
Shows you
foods
enjoy
are
it.
meant to make a mess of you. Food number 4, étouffée.
Étouffée.
Étouffée, which means smothered in French, is one of the most quietly elegant dishes in Louisiana's culinary canon. Tender crawfish, bathed in a silky butter and vegetable sauce, piled over white rice. The dish traces its roots to Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, the self-proclaimed crawfish capital of the world, in the early 20th century. Cajun home cooks had long been simmering crawfish in butter with onion and celery, but the dish didn't enter public consciousness until the 1950s, when the Heber family began serving it at their restaurant and word quietly spread. Here's what catches people off guard. Crawfish étouffée only works because of Louisiana's peculiar geography. The state produces over 100 million pounds of crawfish per year, roughly 90% of the entire U.S. supply. Without Louisiana's warm, shallow swamplands and flooded rice paddies, étouffée as a dish would simply not exist. Étouffée is the taste of a place, of slow water and warm butter and the patience to let something humble become extraordinary.
Oh, I love that.
Food number 5.
So, étouffée is, I want to say it's one of the younger dishes to come into the public's, attention. More of a recent contender, but it has been around for quite a while, right? But not for everyone. Everyone's become aware of it since the 1950s. How could I forget about
Bananas
this?
Foster.
Bananas Foster!
Most foods are born from necessity or tradition. Bananas Foster was born from a business problem, and it became one of the most theatrical desserts in the world. In the early 1950s, New Orleans was the largest banana importing port in the United States. The city was flooded with the fruit, and restaurateur Owen Brennan challenged his chef, Paul Blanchet, to create a dish that used them. In 1951, at Brennan's restaurant on Royal Street, Blanchet developed a recipe of bananas sautéed in butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, and banana liqueur, then flambéed tableside with dark rum. He named it after Richard Foster, a city official and loyal customer. The extraordinary detail: Brennan's restaurant still serves over 35,000 portions of Bananas Foster every single year.
Wow.
The dish has been on the menu continuously since 1951, performed tableside with that same blazing rum ritual for over 70 years. Bananas Foster is the proof that great food doesn't require centuries of tradition. Sometimes one chef, one request, and one very good pan is all it takes. Food number 6.
Oh, well, I always, in my in my head, when I think of stereotypical New Orleans, I normally think of New Orleans in, like, I would say, what is it, like the 1920s, maybe 1930s. There's jazz in the air, but really, all these culinary inventions and dishes, they're all going on in the 50s. Ooh. Now, here's one I don't think I've heard of.
Muffuletta. The muffuletta is not a dainty sandwich. It's a round sesame-seeded loaf the size of a hubcap, split and loaded with Italian cold cuts, provolone, and a salty, briny olive salad that soaks into the bread as it rests.
Oh, I love olives.
Sicilian immigrants poured into New Orleans in the late 19th century, settling in the French Quarter and bringing their culinary traditions with them. In 1906, Salvatore Lupo, owner of Central Grocery on Decatur Street, noticed workers buying ingredients separately: bread, meat, cheese, olives, and struggling to eat standing up. He combined everything into one massive round sandwich, and the Muffuletta was born. Central Grocery still operates today, still making the sandwich the same way Salvatore Lupo did in 1906. What's remarkable is that the olive salad, that tangy, garlicky, finely chopped mix of green and black olives, pickled vegetables, and herbs, is still considered the soul of the sandwich. And no one has ever convincingly replicated it outside of Louisiana.
Oh.
The Muffuletta is immigrant ingenuity made edible. The story of a community that didn't just survive in a new land, it fed everyone around it. Food number 7.
Oh, before we move on, gonna have to put my 2 cents in. This looks like a ginormous sandwich. It looks like there's a cob of bread, and then it's just cut horizontally in half, and then loaded with the filling. It looks ginormous. Do you eat the entire thing? Or does it get cut up in... Oh, silly question. I love olives. I'm a little bit confused on the bread because in some photos it looks like, I don't know, like a kind of cob loaf, I guess. And then in some photos it looked almost like ciabatta-like. So which one is it? What's the nature of the bread in a muffuletta?
Red beans and rice.
Red beans and rice.
Red beans and rice is the most honest dish in Louisiana.
Well, as a Brit, I'm gonna love it.
The one that has fed the most people,
beans.
asked for the least, and given back the most. The tradition of cooking red beans on Monday is rooted in practicality.
Oh.
Monday was laundry day, and the beans could simmer unattended for hours while women worked the wash. The smoked pork bones and andouille sausage thrown in were usually the leftovers from Sunday's dinner. Haitian immigrants arriving in New Orleans after the 1791 revolution are widely credited with deepening the culture of red beans and rice in the city, bringing their own traditions of rice and legumes as the backbone of daily meals. The detail that hits hardest: Louis Armstrong, born and raised in New Orleans, loved red beans and rice so much that he signed his personal letters, "Red beans and ricely yours." He ate it nearly every week of his life. When a musician that important loves a dish that deeply, it stops being food and starts being identity. Red beans and rice is the dish that tells you the truth about a place. Not the tourist version, not the restaurant version. The Monday version, the real one. Food number 8, praline. The praline is Louisiana's most beloved candy.
I didn't know this was born in Louisiana. I love praline. There we go. I'm a Louisianan at heart. That's what it is. I was obviously Louisiana in a past life. Oh, I love them. I had no idea that these were from Louisiana.
A flat, sweet, slightly crumbly disc of caramelized sugar and pecans that melts against your tongue and stops every conversation it enters. The praline began in France, named for César du Plessis-Pralines, a 17th century French diplomat whose chef invented the original confection using almonds. But when the recipe arrived in Louisiana, almonds gave way to the native pecan tree, a nut that grew wild along the bayous and riverbanks, and cream replaced water in the sugar mixture. The result was something richer, darker, and more complex than anything the French original had been. What makes this story remarkable? The transformation was almost entirely the work of free black women in New Orleans known as pralinières, who sold the candies from baskets and trays on the streets of the French Quarter throughout the 18th and 19th centuries. They didn't just adapt the recipe, they built the market for it, turning a French court confection into a street food institution. Every praline you bite into carries the work of those women. Their hands, their hustle, their brilliant riff on a recipe that didn't know what it could become. Food number 9.
And ingenuity. That's what it's all about. It's the birth of amazing dishes and treats. I was going to say, if it's a contest between pecans and almonds, pecans have my vote. I prefer them. They are tastier. I like almonds, but as a whole nut and not a flavor. I'm biased, I know, but pecans all the way.
Po' boy. The po' boy is Louisiana's answer to the sandwich. But to call it just a sandwich is like calling jazz just music. The origin story is one of solidarity. In 1929, New Orleans streetcar workers went on strike. Brothers Benny and Clovis Martin, who ran a small sandwich shop in the French Quarter, promised to feed the strikers for free. They stuffed long loaves of French bread, baked by the Leidenheimer Baking Company, whose airy, crisp-crusted loaves are still used today, with roast beef and gravy, and served them without charge.
Now, we're not talking about a baguette here, are we? Because the baguette, as I know it, is a lot crustier. Now, you can see there's a crust on here, but the bread inside, it looks a lot softer. So help me out, guys. Are we talking about baguettes or not?
Every time a new striker walked in, a worker behind the counter would call out, "Here comes another po' boy." The detail that most people miss: the bread is the secret. Louisiana French bread is uniquely light and crisp because of the local humidity and the specific fermentation methods developed in New Orleans.
Oh?
Bread made anywhere else doesn't compress and shatter the same way. Po' boy shops in New Orleans still receive daily deliveries from Leidenheimer, just as they did in 1929. The po' boy was born from an act of generosity during a moment of desperation. That's what makes it taste the way it does. Food number 10.
Oh, there we go. There's the one that I forgot the name of. Okay. So another amazing craftsmanship that's come about only because of the geography of Louisiana. We've got the humidity that contributes to the texture of the bread. Amazing.
And king cake.
King cake.
King cake is not just a
How
dessert.
do you forget king
It
cake?
is a ritual, a calendar, and a dare, all baked into one ring of sweet dough. The tradition arrived in Louisiana with French and Spanish Catholic settlers in the 18th century, tied to the Epiphany celebration on January 6th, the Feast of the Three Kings, and the beginning of the carnival season that runs through Mardi Gras. The ring shape represents the crown of the three kings. Hidden inside every cake is a tiny plastic baby.
Baby, yes.
Whoever finds it is named king or queen of the next celebration. And
how small a baby are we talking? You'd hate to swallow it by accident.
is obligated to buy the next cake. The extraordinary scale of this tradition. Bakeries across New Orleans produce an estimated 750,000 king cakes every single carnival season.
Find
The
the
baby
baby.
hiding custom has roots in medieval European tradition, but the specific colors, purple for justice, gold for power, green for faith, are a New Orleans invention codified.
I was going to say that's very New Orleans, isn't it? It's very Louisiana. Louisianan. They're your colours. You know, the college football, the tee, it's purple and yellow. Although, where did the green come from?
In the late 19th century. King cake is the only food in America that makes eating a competition, a ceremony, and a community obligation all at once.
Love it.
Only Louisiana could have invented something like that. Louisiana didn't invent food.
Louisiana
It invented a
craziness.
philosophy that the table is where survival becomes celebration, where the pain of history gets transformed slowly and deliberately into something worth sharing. From Gumbo's 3 continents in a single bowl, to a po' boy built for striking workers who had nothing, every dish on this list carries more than flavor. It carries the story of who built this place and who fed it.
Yes.
That is what Where Food Began exists to tell you. And we are just getting started. If this video changed the way you think about Louisiana or about food, drop a like. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe if you want more stories like this every week, and leave a comment below. Which of these 10 dishes surprised you most? And which one are you going to eat first?
What surprised me most about this list is that I have seen all of them. I've heard about all of the dishes. Muffuletta, I know I've heard the name, but I wasn't too sure what went into it, I don't think. So now I know. I feel the title was very misleading. I thought it was making me doubt the dishes that I knew were from Louisiana. And they all popped up there, didn't they? All sound amazing. I know I hear from plenty of other people that they're all delicious. My favorite thing that I love about every one of these dishes, I think, is that there's a history behind it. And I love that. Like I say, I do love my history. But yeah, it's rich in culture and history. And I think that's amazing. Louisiana really is a cultural melting pot, isn't it? I love it. I think it's brilliant. So Sam, thank you very much for requesting that video. Very interesting and always a pleasure to see and hear more information about all of those amazing dishes, which make me slightly hungry because I don't think I've actually tried any of them yet, but they look so tasty. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Take care of yourselves and I will see you next time. Bye bye.